Has anyone watched the 3rd episode of the K-drama, The Impossible Heir? So I've just finished it and I've got so many questions. So in the previous episode, we just left off when we had jumped 5 years into the future, and Inna and Teo were both working under Inna's brother's company, which was an umbrella of the dad's company, to be honest with you. So Teo had written a speech for Inna's dad to give, and he'd basically asked everyone to leave the room so they could have a one-to-one conversation. But the dad basically told him that he'd figured him out and he knew that he'd planned for them to have this meeting, but he was fired. And then he told him that he could read everything on his face and he knew exactly what was going on. And then he told him that you're the one who came up with the idea to put your dad in prison by faking your mother's death. So that's how he's in prison, because I couldn't figure it out last time, if you remember. The one thing he didn't say is, you're best friends with my illegitimate child. Like, that, I feel like, is the most important thing out of everything. And he not once mentioned that, which I found was quite strange. It then turns out that Teo becomes the dad's, like, personal assistant. So we jump forward for 5 years and he's literally working for the dad. He's like, he's number one guy. He does all his errands. He's just literally does everything. Teo and Inna are still going forward with their plan. They're basically getting more information. They've got a guy who's a bit of like a cyber investigator, let's say, and he's also like watching the brothers. He's like hacking into people's emails, their phones, cameras. He's literally just getting all of the on everyone in Inna's family. But then what happens is the dad's in like bad health, so his wife is like, yes, her son's gonna be able to take over the family business. So the middle son basically wants to take over the company, and the mum is there for it. Like, she wants him to have everything and wants to basically leave out the older son because she don't like him. And then obviously Inna's got no looking anyway because he's illegitimate, so he can go to hell as far as everyone in the family is concerned. So the brother is making moves. He's basically got his dad's lawyer and tells him that if he comes to his side, he'll give him his own business, which will be not just in name it, he'll own it. He's basically giving this guy everything he wants to hear. So the guy basically decides to swap sides. But because of Inna and Teo doing their secret investigation, Teo finds out and basically brings this information to the dad. So the dad now knows that his son is backstabbing him. So what the dad does is he basically tells the son, you know, you've worked so hard on your company, you've done all of this, so it's now time for you to move and I'll give you a promotion. And the dad's like, and I'll take over your company, because obviously, even though it's his in name, really everything's the dad's. So the brother is pissed. But also, I forgot to say, while this is happening, you've got Inna and Hawan, and he asks her to marry him, and she says, I will marry you when you take over the business. So that just tells you everything. Like, she literally is like, I will marry you, but you need to be rich. You're rich, but you need to be rich. That's how I see it. I don't like her. And the dad's wife finds out that her husband has some heart condition. So when she goes to see him and she confronts him regarding the son being demoted, and he's like, I know all the backstabbing and scheming you and my son have been doing. And then he's like starts clutching his chest and falls to the floor. So now she knows, so she walks up to him like she's going to help him, and he's grasping for some pills, and she walks away and just leaves him. So then you don't know how much time goes by, but this man's on the floor looking like he's ready to die because he's probably having a heart attack. And Teo walks into the room and you're thinking, okay, he's going to give him the pills. But Teo walks to the pills slowly, picks them up, looks at the pills, looks at Inna's dad, and then just stands there. And so that's basically how it ends. But this is what I want to know. So I'm thinking, if he is to leave the dad on the floor and the dad dies, then does that not mean that Inna will be out completely? Because the whole point of their whole mission is to get the dad to like somehow sign all the businesses to Inna. But if he's dead, it will be, everything will be automatically left to his wife and his kids, and Inna won't be in this will, because if you remember in the first episode, the stepmom made him sign paperwork to say that even though he is the illegitimate child, he will not be listed as a member of the family, so he will not be entitled to any inheritance, but he can still get his allowance, which he was getting anyway. So if his dad's dead now, that will mess up with their whole plan. And then secondly, say for instance he doesn't die, then this man's going to remember that his wife walked out on him, and then Teo, who's supposed to be his right hand guy, also walked out on him. So then doesn't that mean that he'll be like, well, I'm going to sack you, so their plan will fail? So to me, the only way that they can actually like pull off this plan for Inna to take over the family's inheritance is for Teo to save the dad. Because the dad will then be like, this bitch tried to let me die, and he'll probably divorce her and disinherit her. That's what I'm personally thinking.